ladies. Welcome to the Gayu Lewis Podcast. I'm your host, Gayu Lewis, a licensed menopause coach, and this podcast is all about supporting women through menopause and beyond. Today on our podcast, I'm thrilled to welcome Noor, the spirited founder of Active at Home. With a wealth of experience and a heart full of passion, Noor has built a fitness platform that's all about bringing a gym to you, making it incredibly easy for busy women to stay active without leaving their homes. Noor's approach is all about empowerment and independence. She believes that fitness isn't just about following instructions. It's about learning to take charge of your own health and well-being. With maturity and relatability, she guides her clients on a journey to becoming their best selves, teaching them to be independent rather than dependent on others on their fitness goals. Join us as we dive into Noor's story, exploring how Active at Home started amid the global lockdown and grew into a thriving community. We'll talk about her vision for making fitness accessible and enjoyable, and how she uses her platform to combat lifestyle diseases and promote overall wellness. Get ready to an inspiring session with your new training buddy, Noor. Noor, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Gayu. Wow, that was an intro.
Thank you. I'm happy you liked it.
Thank you. You reminded me a lot of why I started doing what I was doing. So thank you for that. There's some keywords there. Definitely.
Very happy to have you, Noor. Noor, I've heard you speak before in terms of, and I know how passionate you are about fitness. But I think for our listeners, I think it's very important for them to understand what was it that you were doing before Active at Home, and what, how have those experiences influenced your current path into fitness?
I've always been an educator. I trained as a teacher in 1998. So I've always been passionate about transferring skills. I didn't think about personal training as a career until I started to think about fitness for myself. And that came around in my late 30s. And I joined a local gym. And for the first time in my life, I was actually excited about exercising. I think we get to a certain stage in our life where the youth starts to pass us by,
Yeah.
and we start to feel it in places that we've never felt it before. So, I was excited to join a gym. Wasn't sure what I was doing in the gym.
Yeah.
I think that's the case with most people,
True.
especially women. The treadmill is a safe place, or the cross trainer,
Yeah.
or the bike. But then it gets boring, and then it's monotonous, and then you become complacent, and then you don't want to go, really.
True.
So I started to do some of the classes, and then one day, after a couple of years of doing Pilates, my instructor came up to me and he said, "You're really good. Have you ever thought about becoming an instructor yourself?" And I went, "No, I haven't really. I didn't even think I was that good, to be honest." And then I took a real interest in weights. And I really like the feeling of being strong. And a woman in her I was early 40s by then, in the middle of a weights area, which is predominantly men,
Yeah.
very high testosterone fueled area, to walk in and pick up weights in an area like that, it's quite daunting. It's quite overwhelming. And I am a very, very naturally shy person, with very little confidence. But I took the step and I went in and I picked up some weights, and men were very welcoming. "Oh, can I show you what to do? Can I show you this exercise? Oh, you might want to go with these weights." And so I just took it all on board and I went with it. And then I kind of figured out for myself what I needed to do. But then I did hire a personal trainer. You can't go to a gym and not consult a professional.
True.
So if you really do want to progress in your fitness levels, invest in a personal trainer, wherever you are, whichever gym you belong to. Find someone that you connect with, though.
Yeah.
That's really important. So I didn't need many one-to-one sessions. They showed me what to do, how to use the equipment, which aligned with my goals. And yeah, lo and behold, I started to get quite strong. I was pushing and pulling weights that were quite heavy, and I was quite proud of myself, really. Felt strong. You know, that it is
feeling,
really hard to... explain that feeling of being strong to someone that doesn't really get it yet. But once you do get it, and once you understand it, it is a really nice feeling. So, and it did boost my confidence hugely. And then I thought, I like this. I've been teaching children for 20 plus years. I'd actually like to train women. I'd like to teach women what I have learned along the way, but in a professional. So I had to go and do my training. In London, we have the YMCA. I went to do my training there, became a level 3 PT. I did the boxing course as well. I did the TRX course as well. So I took it on professionally. I started to train one-to-one. I was quite lucky in London. I had a very large house, so I could section off a part of the house and turn it into a gym.
Okay.
So the women were coming to me on the times that I wasn't, working at school.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, lockdowns happened, and then people were messaging me, "Can we do the classes online? You know, can you still continue?" And I did, but I was a little bit overwhelmed with how women, for the first time, wanted to do something about their health because the focus was nothing else.
Yeah.
The focus was health. No one could go to work. No one could even go shopping. It was like people were in fear. And for the first time, it was a wake up call. No one could go to the gym. So I thought, okay, let's do mass group sessions online. I chose a few different platforms. I chose Zoom. I chose Facebook Live. I even did WhatsApp video. And we did it daily. And we did it a couple of times throughout the day at set times. And I remember on a few sessions, women just couldn't get in. It was so packed, because at that time, I think Zoom was only allowing me up to 40 people.
Okay.
So, because it was, can I invite a friend? And the friend was, can I invite a friend? Can I invite a friend? And it was like, wow. And it was just blowing up and up. And then this Facebook group, WhatsApp group became 100. Then the Facebook group became 500.
Wow.
And it was just overwhelming. And I did it for free. So March was the first lockdown, and I did it for free all the way to November of that year, because I could feel their fear. I could feel their desperation. I could feel that this necessity of taking control of their health. And it was something for them to focus on. And it was literally the first time ever that women had time for their health. We've all got time for our health, but it was the first time where they couldn't use anything else as an excuse.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yeah. Agreed.
So, and that's how it started. And I never looked back after that. And I wasn't the only one. That there were thousands of trainers that did exactly the same as I did. But I found that once the lockdowns had all finished, everyone went back to the gym. I didn't. I continued with this platform. I've still got some ladies that are still with me from the beginning, and slowly that I've just added on. People have dropped away, new people are arriving. There's always this transition. And that's how it started, and that's where it is today.
Amazing. I remember lockdown myself, and I think I was stuck in an apartment at that time. We used to do running up and down the staircase, as to keep ourselves active. And I think two things were very popular during lockdown was either workouts or banana bread.
Everyone learned to make
Everyone
banana
was
bread.
making their own banana bread. I don't know what the craze was. Anyways, I'm happy those days have actually gone, and we could get back to being normal.
Absolutely.
Talking about the whole at your home, what's your core vision? How do you hope to impact women, their life through your platform?
It's just so easy and it's so accessible. Women are busy humans. They've got so much to juggle. They've got their work, they've got their children, they've got their in-laws, they've got their own parents, they've got their husband, they've got all sorts of cultural implications. But making time for themselves is really, really difficult. I think my biggest barrier and the thing that frustrates me the most is allowing women to get to a point in their life where they know that they need to be exercising. You can't push women. You can't shake them and say, right, come on, you need to exercise. It's almost like they wait for something. And it's usually something coming from the doctor. So they'll find something is wrong. They'll go to the doctor and the doctor will say, right, now you need to exercise. And then they'll go, oh my God, what do I do? Okay. So they'll go and join a gym, and they'll walk into a gym. It will be daunting. It will be overwhelming. It will be 100,000 million machines that they don't know what to do and how to use it. Free weights. How do they start with free weights? God knows. They don't have a clue. Okay, classes. Classes are great. But then classes are also limited. Classes are first come, first serve. So if you don't get in the class, tough, you don't get in. And the variety isn't there with the classes. So my platform provides classes that are literally there in your room with you. I'm there with you every day, as many times a day that you want. I'm there. You switch on. We say hi. Sometimes it's 2 ladies in one class. Sometimes there's 10. Sometimes there's 12. It really depends on the day or the particular workout. And I try and address every aspect of fitness because it's really important. It's not just about weight loss, fat loss. Women are obsessed with fat loss. It's not. In fact, I was telling someone today, fat loss is a bonus. Once you start your exercising, once you start the consistency of the exercising, you'll find other magical things happening. And then fat loss is just the bonus, as long as you're consistent. Yeah. And it does allow, Active at Home does allow for consistency because it's so easy. My workouts are only 30 minutes. I don't do anything longer. I myself cannot concentrate any more than 30 minutes because I've got 1,000 million other things to do in my life and I don't want to be exercising to the point of exhaustion. So you give yourself time for recovery. So 30 minutes is more than enough and then you're ready to go again the next day. And it's accessible. It is. You don't have to worry about childcare. You don't have to worry about what the kids are doing because they could be playing that right there in front of you. You don't have to worry about not being able to do the cooking because you can put it on and you can even exercise in your kitchen and you can turn it up, turn it down, whatever, stir it while you're exercising. I can't explain enough how easy and accessible these workouts are. The platform is.
Yeah. So you're giving it everything to them and they just have to take the 30 minutes out of their whole day to do that exercise.
What's 30 minutes?
Yeah.
2% of your day.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like you said, you've got multiple types of workouts. Now, how do you design your workouts so that they're both effective and enjoyable? You're saying it's just 30 minutes, so it has to make sure that it's effective. So can you walk through one of the class? Can you explain the concept behind the class?
Yeah. So I will do strength training. So you will need to have some dumbbells at home. I will. That's one particular class.
Yep.
So, for instance, I will. Again, there's so many ways to strength train. I could do supersets that
Yep.
day, or I could do compound multi-joint, multi-muscle exercises that day. I could do just one exercise with many reps.
Yeah.
So it really depends. But I do try and vary it. We do get bored. As humans, we do get bored. If it's the same exercise, same workout week after week after week after week, your body does get used to it and it's not as effective. And unless you've got a huge variety of weights, it's hard for progression. It's hard to progress. So I try and switch it up. I try and surprise ladies every now and then as well, because, when you catch them off guard, it's a new exercise. Oh, wow. Then they suddenly feel a muscle that they probably haven't worked for a long time. So I do warn. I don't just, turn up and say, right, we're going to do this workout. It's always pre-planned. Okay. It's always discussed. So they know what to expect and it's not too much of a shock. And then, so strength is one. It's very, very important for women. In fact, it's probably the most important workout. And for a variety of reasons why it's so important. Obviously, you have to work the heart, you have to work the respiratory system and the metabolic system. So we do high intensity interval training. I have got ladies who are in their 70s. I have got ladies who are in their late teens.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a huge variety. So I don't set anybody up for failure. If you turn up to a class, if I know you're coming, I will already have variations planned for you.
Wow.
So you will not feel like you're going to fail. You will not feel like you're not being included. Something will be prepared for you and you just have a go. I always say, just have a go. If it's too much, you slow it down, you turn it into a march, but just keep moving. Even if you turn up and you start waving your arms and your legs about, at least you're moving.
Yeah, you've done something.
You've done something. Yeah. And I'll always applaud someone who will do that. I'll always applaud someone who will turn up and say, I'm really tired today. I've had a really rough day. I think that's awesome. The fact that they've turned up, it's awesome. So, high intensity interval training. My favorite is Tabata. It's quick, it's fast, and it's done. It's a great form. It's a Japanese form of training. It's brilliant. I do a Pilates inspired type of mat based workout. Again, it's essential for core strength, balance work, flexibility. My own personal favorite is functional training. So it's about going the full range of motion, opening up your joints, making sure that the joint health is good, because again, that's another issue.
True.
And it's not an issue just for the menopausal or perimenopausal. I've got ladies in their late 20s who've had such bad sciatica that they've almost been disabled by
Ooh.
the pain. But these sort of exercises help them. And you know, I've got a young lady who has gone back to her consultant, and the consultant has been amazed with how much she's overcome the pain and the disability through exercise. So, you know, we've got a whole, I've trained a lady who had a liver transplant, you
Wow.
know. Again, it's just turning up, doing your best. And, you know, if anybody's ever worried about their form, whether they're doing it right, I'm there. We have a discussion. I'll talk to them afterwards. I'll check that their form is correct. But I'm always looking, I'm always watching. I may be doing, but I've got this, I can multitask, you know? So I'm always watching, even if I've got 10 ladies on the screen, it's a big screen, I can see people really, so long as you've angled your camera well, so I'm not just looking at your light shade or
Yeah.
not looking at the floor. If I can see you full body, I can train you as well as I can train you in the gym. I might not be able to touch you. I don't need to touch you. As long as I can see you, I know that you're doing your lunges properly. I know that you're doing your hip thrusters properly. And I know that you're doing your shoulder presses properly because I can see you clearly.
So when you say you're there, are you physically working out with them when you do the session?
Every single one. They're all live.
So how many sessions in a day do you do?
It varies, up to 4 a day that I will physically join in.
Okay.
I can't do any more than that.
Yeah.
It's more than enough
Yeah.
for me. The others I will just instruct. I will start people off. One thing that I've noticed with women is that if I stop, they stop. And I always say, don't stop, carry on, you know? So I will start off and then I'll let them continue. And I think if you go to a gym and you see the instructors at the gym and you're joining in their classes, they can't physically possibly do every single class because they may teach about 6-7 classes a day.
Sure.
So what they will do is they'll start you off and then they'll
They
make
just
sure
go
that you're
around and trying to
exactly,
correct people. Yeah.
exactly. So it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
You know, you spoke about HIIT training. There's I don't know whether it's true or it's a myth that if women do HIIT training, mainly midlife, it's actually causing more stress than the benefit. What's your take on that?
You know what? It depends on how high your cortisol levels are. If you're a stressy person, the last thing you want is a workout that's going to stress you out. Something I read a while back was you've got voluntary cortisol and you've got involuntary cortisol. So your involuntary cortisol is the stress that you're getting from your work, from your husband, from the kids. You know, it's like
I love how you mention husband.
it's bound to happen, no matter how good your
Yeah,
husband is.
yeah.
It's bound. And then you've got your voluntary stress, the stress that you will enter in voluntarily, which is your workout, which is your exercise.
Yep.
You enter it knowing that you are going to stress yourself out a little bit because you're raising those cortisol. You're doing something that's going to be challenging. And apparently it's a good stress. It's a good cortisol, and it doesn't have any negative effects on your body. Some people will argue with me on that. Again, it really depends on your cortisol levels. If you are a really stressy person, then my suggestion is that you do low impact interval training, where you don't have to jump. It's not necessary, but you can still get your heart rate up and you can still get a sweat on. So, and you can still end the workout with a smile.
I think that's very key, right? You know, you always want to
100%.
have, you know, when you finish a workout, it's this amazing feeling that you get. Of course, it's probably, you know, all the hormones that's in your head.
Absolutely.
But it's always a wonderful feeling. Like, you know, even though you're like dead, but it's that happy dead. I think that's how I would describe it.
The endorphins and the serotonin. But the last thing you want, which is why I don't do any more than 30 minutes, is to do a workout and then lie on the floor going, I can't move. Okay. Because you're so exhausted. You've completely depleted all your energy levels. But then you've got the rest of the day, or, okay, you've done it in the evening. Okay, do a workout like that actually in the evening and then go straight to bed. But you won't have time for recovery for the next day. You won't be able to do a workout for the next day, or your muscle, the DOMS will be so extreme the next day that, you won't be able to function properly. I personally don't see the point in that. I think that you exercise for 30 minutes, you get your sweat on, or you get the muscles pumping, or, you work on your joint strength, your core strength, and then the next day you're ready for a different sort of workout.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just me personally.
I know. Like, I was just talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I had a very, very intense workout day before yesterday. I'm very sore today." So I'm just trying to tell her that, what did you do?
Yeah.
Did you have, enough of recovery? And she's like, "Oh, maybe I want to go back to the gym today." I said, "Maybe your body's telling you to recover, to take rest. Just take rest. Get your magnesium.
Yeah.
Maybe Epsom salt. Soak yourself in.
Absolutely.
But maybe this is your body way.
Yeah.
You can keep."
Yeah.
Define that, no, I'm very strong and I want to go back to the gym.
Yeah.
So maybe, take a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah. But also, if she does want to go back to the gym, which is a great thing, go and do a different sort of workout. Go and do a nice Pilates mat base. Go and do some yoga. Go and do some swimming, maybe. Yeah.
Swimming is so good. Such a good form of workout in general, like a whole body. And again, low impact, right? So I think I used to swim almost every day when I was pregnant, because I really enjoyed being in the water. Anyways, I was pregnant during the summer months.
Yeah.
So I think just to cool. And then anyways, in the water, it was much, much easier.
It's the best.
Yeah. I remember doing that. Talking about, being pregnant, my next question is, do you do specialized programs for pregnant women, new mothers, or elderly women? And what precautions and modifications do you implement when you do these specific workouts?
I will not advise any pregnant woman to do any exercise unless they've been exercising before.
Okay.
So I have had pregnant women approach me and say, I want to start exercise. You want to start? Did you do it before? No. Not a good time to start then. Okay, wait until, My suggestion would be to go to pregnancy classes that's specifically designed for like yoga, for breathing. But if you want to start weight training or doing some HIIT work during your pregnancy, you've not done it before and you wasn't active before, then no.
Okay.
It's not good. Postnatal, if you've had a straightforward pregnancy, a straightforward delivery, 6 weeks plus, why not? You come in slowly. Everything is low impact. Okay. It's low impact. You take your time. You allow your body to adjust. Again, if you just move, if you come and you just move, at least you're opening up your joints and, you're using the muscles. Obviously, you've got to be very careful of any core exercises and ab exercises. All of that is very vulnerable. Your pelvic floor is very weak. I am not trained to teach pregnancy, and I'm not trained for postnatal, but everything is adaptable. It's the same with the older generation. We could work out from a chair. You know that, don't you? We could work out now sitting from this chair just by moving the limbs. Everything is possible. Even if you've got shoulder injury, you've got hip injury, you've got knee issues, you work around all of that, So pregnancy is not a disability. Pregnancy is a beautiful time in your life. That swimming is amazing. Yoga is amazing. Pilates is great, but specifically designed. But it's not a time to start working out.
And I think it's very good for women to know that.
Yeah.
Don't surprise your body suddenly with something that you've not done.
Exactly. Not during pregnancy, no.
Yeah. You spoke about the whole working out from a chair. I actually recently went to a yoga studio. They showed me the whole chair yoga that they do. They've
The
got
chair or the reformer?
No, they have a chair.
Ah.
Yeah. They have a chair and they do specific workouts. And she's like, this is mainly for the elderly because they can't sit and get up very easily. Although if they'd done proper workouts when they were younger, they can still get up and sit and get up. But then, but they like, at least we're doing something for them.
Absolutely.
And they said, the problem is in Dubai, there are not too many elderly people.
No, you're right.
She's like, but whoever are there, they don't have that much of, people teaching them. So she's like, that's why we introduced the chair yoga so that they could still come connect with, their generation of people and then still do this workout, which is helping them, with their mobility.
It's very interesting. Yeah, really interesting. It is doable. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anytime, even if it's too late, start it, right? I think starting and
Any
do
age.
any. Yeah.
Any age, any movement is good,
Yeah. True.
but you just have to be motivated.
Yeah. True. 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 Your whole aspect on active at home is that you can't complain about I don't have time,
Mm.
which is the most biggest complaint that women have in terms of I can't find time for fitness. But are there any top tips that you would give for integrating exercise? Of course, active at home is one part of it, but is there anything else if they're not able to imagine subscribe to an active at home? What are the tips that they can put into practice in their life or integrate into their busy lifestyle, but still to some form of movement?
So much material on YouTube at the moment. So if you don't know what to do or how to do it or what interests you, go onto YouTube, type in workouts, flick through, have a look, what looks like something that would appeal to you. Find something that suits you that you might like to have a go at, and then think about what time of day could you possibly just have 30 minutes to yourself. Could it be really early in the morning? So it means you just get up 30 minutes before everybody else does, or really late at night if you're not too exhausted. Um, or just as you get home from work is a good time, because before you start getting into everything
Yeah.
else, or before the children get home, everyone is so different, but there is a 30-minute slot somewhere in throughout the day that you can do something. And if 30 minutes is too much, start with 10.
Yeah.
Start with 10 minutes a day. Everyone can make 10 minutes a day.
Easy.
You make 10 minutes a day to scroll, no?
Yeah. They take probably more to scroll.
Exactly. So use that 10 minutes to do something a little bit more constructive. Inundated free material on YouTube. Go and find something that looks fun, whether it's Zumba, whether it's yoga, whether it's some Pilates, whether it's some ab work, whatever you think that you might appeal to you, and do that.
Yeah.
10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then build it from there.
I've always tried to, schedule my workout in the morning.
There
Because
you
for
go.
me, it's like there's a big tick mark done for the day. But if it's not there, I'll keep procrastinating. I'm like, I'll go later. I know after this, after work. And then that's never going to happen. I'll drive straight home. And, so that's why I'm like, morning. So I used to work out at 5:30 at one point, because my work was at 6:30. So 6:37, I used to like finish my workout, take a shower, and get directly to work. So that's something that I practice in terms of morning workout in general.
Does it not become a part of your life so much so that it's like brushing your teeth?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you miss it, if you don't do it, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. For me, it just keeps me going for the whole day. I think the adrenaline rush that it gives me, I am buzzed through the whole day till probably easily till afternoon. And anyways, I don't eat very heavy, so I don't get into that slump anyways. I'm like, I can easily push through till evening.
Yeah.
Then, come home, have dinner, but I go to bed very early.
Yeah.
So
And that's a good thing.
yeah. So it's early to bed, early to rise. There would just be
Perfect.
saying that time, right? Early to
Perfect.
bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
It's
So
completely true.
yeah,
One of the things that I do get a lot is I'm too tired. I'm too tired to exercise. But you're too tired because you're not exercising is my answer.
Okay.
It's you're not exercising. That's why your energy levels are so low. Once you exercise, you'll find that your energy levels will come back up. Like you said, it keeps you going for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So morning is good for you.
Yeah. I'm a morning person.
Perfect. So you found your slotted time.
Yeah.
And you've stuck to it, and now it's embedded in your routine.
Yes.
That's it. That's all people have to do. Find that time in your day. If you're not working and you're at home, lunchtime's a good time, because in the morning you've done all your chores or you're running around, all the bits that you need to do. Come lunchtime, there's just before lunch, you've got a little period of time. Do your workout then. There's no children, everything's done, you don't know fussing. It's a good time.
Yeah. Rather than sitting on your phone, just take care of yourself. 30 minutes for yourself.
Yes.
Interesting. We spoke about the whole busy lifestyle, and you and I both know the effect of this. But for our listeners, how does physical fitness impact mental health, and particularly for women? And how do you incorporate mental wellness into your routines?
I think the mental well-being aspect of fitness is probably the part that I push the most, especially coming out of COVID as well, because that was a big thing.
True.
Um, I there's all these chemicals that are released when you do exercise, and it's easy to get stuck in a rut in this life. How do you pull yourself out of that rut when there's so many pressures? You're pulled left and right as a woman. You're constantly under stress. How do you get yourself out of it? One of the easiest and the most effective way of pulling yourself out of a rut is movement. Any type of movement. But when you're exercising within a community or you're exercising with someone, the social aspect of it is really nice as well. You've got someone there with you and you don't feel so isolated.
Yeah.
I know it's behind a screen. I'm sorry, I'm going back to Active at Home here.
Yeah.
I know it's behind a screen, okay? But, we've got a community here. So no one's ever met anyone, by the way, because we're from all corners of the world. There are ladies in all parts of Europe, Spain, Croatia, Slovakia, Slovenia. We've got ladies in the UK. We've got ladies here in Dubai.
Yeah.
Who all exercise together, and they're all part of this group, and we communicate every day. So you've got this community
Yeah.
encouragement. You've got women who will say something that will spark the same emotion or the same feeling in somebody else, and they will write something in the group and say, "Oh my God, I feel like that too." Or someone will say something at the end of the workout and they'll say, "Oh my God, I feel like that too. We're going to be fine. We just need to encourage each other." I think, when it's part of a community or when you've got someone there that's, pulling you up and pushing you and encouraging you, it just helps so much with the mental side of it. I think I really do promote it. Again, I'm going back to this fat loss thing because I don't promote fat loss. Okay, I'm not a fat loss coach. I like to think of myself as a body positivity coach, but more of a health coach. Yeah. And part of that, the biggest part of it is your mental well-being. It does make you happy. You know it. I don't need to explain it to you. It does make you happy. As long as you don't fully exhaust yourself, by the end of your workout, you're a completely different person. You actually don't want to kill anyone, and you do smile. You can't help it. Is that they say it's the same effect as taking MDMA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
And it's longer lasting than it. MDMA is over in a couple of hours, but what releases the chemicals that are released in your body, that feeling of elation and happiness, will go on for hours and hours and hours.
True.
So who needs drugs when you've got exercise?
Absolutely. Now you spoke about the whole community bit, which is very interesting because I got into fitness also probably around 32, 33 after my son was born, my second kid. I've always been into sports my whole childhood. But then I think once work got in and stuff like that, kind of that was lost. But I think when I got back into fitness or anything, was probably 33. And I joined this group of women. It was called Get Fit Chick, and run by two very incredible women. And they had an 8-week challenge at that time, CrossFit. Yeah. I'm like, let me do this. I've never done any of those bars and stuff like that, but I got into it. It was an all women group. And it was so good that we all were just pushing each other. And at that time, it happened to be that there was another lady who was with me in the group. She just had a baby also, just like me. Both of us were like, I think 4 months postpartum. But we got into this. So we were pushing each other, supporting, if you picked up 5, and like, come on, can you do 7.5 next time and stuff like that. The next time I actually won the challenge.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the biggest transformation in the challenge.
Amazing.
And that kept me going. And that's how I got into the whole CrossFit bit. And the community stuff really helped me. And I've done lots of workouts. I've always tried to be with group workouts because I'm very competitive. And if I can see somebody else, do slightly better, I'd be like trying to always push myself. I don't think it's always positive, but then, it just, I think naturally comes to me. Right now, no, maybe, but at that time I was probably still younger. But group workout always, I think, has that, effect on people, and which is always good to have with somebody else rather than, work out single. Because the
Absolutely.
single with PTs is a different level altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But I think group is more fun. If you
is.
like, yeah. Like it.
Absolutely. Totally agree with it.
Yeah.
Empowered women empower women, don't they?
Yeah.
They push each other.
True.
And even if you're not competitive, you still want to do better. You
Yeah.
still want to do well. Even if you're only competing with yourself, which is really important, by the way. You don't want to become very stagnant in your fitness. You want to always strive to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
That's very important.
True. It brings back old memories of me working out. This brings me to a very important question. Women, when they get into fitness, they see the change. They're very happy with the change. But there's something when they hit a plateau, post which no matter what they do, neither, I don't look at a weighing scale in general, but, the tape measurement or, there's nothing changing.
Yeah.
And they generally give up at that time. They're like, why? Is there something wrong? What should they do to continue to see this progress? And what should they change so that they tweak or they make some change to see, the change continuously happening and not hit the plateau?
We all plateau. It's normal and it's natural. But then what are our goals? If your goal is to lose a specific amount of body fat, which is, it's not me, I don't promote that, but I know a lot of people do. And you've lost 95% of that body fat that you wanted to lose. Say you wanted to lose, like, I don't know, a stone. And you've lost 12 kilos or whatever it is. And you've just got those last few kilos left to go. They're the hardest anyway. Well, what is preventing you from losing those last couple of kilos? You have to analyze it yourself, really. And most of the time it's food. It is food. It's what you're eating. Continue in your calorie deficit. Make sure that you're doing the right sort of workouts to burn the fat. Obviously, steady state cardio. Running and running and running and running and running for ages and ages isn't the best thing. It really depends on your goal. If you're plateauing and you're not achieving your goals and you're almost there, you need to sit back and analyze. Definitely not give up. But then maybe maybe that plateau you have reached where you need to be. And then you're just exercising for maintenance, and that's a good thing because maybe your body is just not meant to change anymore. Maybe your fitness level has maximized and you're at the best, you're at your peak. And then you're just working out for maintenance. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's where you ideally want to be, right?
You want to be. But, I do get women who come to me and say, but I don't want this. What are you going to do? How can you get rid of that? Or I don't want this, And it's like, is that your goal? Is that really your goal? What do you really want to achieve through your exercising, through your fitness? And that's when people stop. Because this is all they can think about. That's what they're obsessed with. And then this isn't going. So they'll say, it's not working.
Yeah. I think social media again puts a lot of pressure, right? Because you see all these, even women, men with, washboard abs are all fine. But, when you see women and they're like, oh, if she can be, I can be. And, and they always come to me. They're like, Gayu, we've heard, abs are made in the kitchen. And, you always speak so much about nutrition. What can I do to make the changes? I also want these, 6-pack abs. And I tell them, I said, we all have abs. It's all there. It's not that they suddenly pop up. They're there. It's when, there's certain layers of fat and, muscle and the skin, all of that, which is where it's hidden. But with women, it's anyways more challenging, right? Because you need to be at a very, very low body fat percentage for the abs to really pop up. And that's not healthy. I said a lot of women who get into bodybuilding, they do it to get to a very low body fat percentage. But that's for a particular challenge or something. But it's not sustainable because your menstrual cycle will go like it's gone. For some people, they lose it completely and then it takes time for them to come back. Again, causes, in future infertility, fertility issues are there, all of that stuff. So I keep telling people, it's not that you can't have it, but don't make that the only focus,
Yeah.
focus on overall, because you just can't, even if you do 1,000 crunches, you're not going to get abs. You have to lose everywhere for it to then, become, then focus on your belly. And I said, for women anyways, God made us in such a way that he created that area to have all the fat so you could have another,
Yeah.
create life.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, it's not that easy for women. That's why I said, when you spoke about this whole bit, I said I had to, kind of tell you what I heard from a nutrition
Absolutely.
perspective.
And it becomes an obsession with
Yeah.
some ladies. And it's sad, really, because reducing your body fat down so low is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's not sustainable. And bodybuilders can only do it for a very short period of time. And they have to stop drinking water
I know.
days
Yeah, yeah.
before a show.
True. So that they're completely
Yeah.
dehydrated and the
Yeah.
muscles pop up. Yeah, yeah.
How is that sustainable?
Yeah.
It's not. So social media, going back to social media again, it's and or these influencers who are promoting, this particular look, 99% of us women will never be able to achieve that look.
Yeah.
And then we start to develop all sorts of eating issues or eating disorders, which we don't want. And then you lose like you said, you lose your period, you lose your hair.
Yeah.
Your hair starts to fall out in bunches, your joints start to give way. So is that what you really want? Is it really worth it? So your abs will show.
Yeah. Like I've even known women who've gone into taking not the good substances as well.
Yes.
And then they're like, suddenly you got facial hair, your voice is becoming more hoarse. And then you're like, I'm like, man, you're losing your femininity. Like the feminine in you is going. You might just end up getting better looking muscles, but then where is the beautiful you gone?
What happened to the old Marilyn Monroe voluptuous look that was so popular back in the 1950s? I mean, she was beautiful.
Yeah, the 36, 24, 36, right?
Yeah.
The hourglass figure.
What was wrong with that? Yeah. She looked absolutely beautiful. The only thing with her was her confidence. She had the confidence to carry it. If you're fit and you're healthy and, you can climb masses of stairs and carry your shopping and, go through your day without any aches
Pick up
and
your
pains,
kids.
pick up your kids, but you still have a voluptuous figure. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
You're healthy. You have no health issues.
Correct.
You don't have to be a skinny mini to show that you're healthy. That's not the case.
Yeah.
In fact, most skinny minis are not, bless them, and they're not healthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's social media. I'm afraid that's.
There's a very nice social media influencer called Diana or Dan. I forgot her name. Not coming to my head. She speaks all about body positivity, and she speaks that whatever is on social media is actually not true.
Yeah.
So she shows off saying that how people pose on the for the camera and the angles they shoot at, and she like in reality they've got the cellulites, they've got the folds in the skin, and it's all there. So don't believe everything that you see on social media. Very, very, I forgot her name, but very, very good influencer.
Absolutely. I think women just need to there's a switch in your brain, that's that needs to be ignited, where you can actually look at yourself and be happy with yourself. If you know that you're exercising, you're eating well, you feel good, then all you need to do is look at yourself and say, I look good.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's as simple as that. But how many women can do that? Look in the mirror and say, damn, I look good.
Yeah, I always tell again with moms, I always say, look in the mirror and say, I had 2 babies, or I had 3 babies. It's not easy.
No.
That so much changes that happens in your body. You said, be happy.
Yeah.
Maybe that skinny girl that you're seeing has issues.
Yes.
You never know.
Yes.
Look at yourself and say, I had 2 babies. And still I look so sexy. It's the kind of compliment you need to give yourself.
And how lucky we are, Gayu. How lucky, how privileged we are that we can wake up in the morning, get out of bed, and be able to move.
Yeah.
Be able to exercise. And we've been blessed. We've been blessed with our children. We've been blessed with the ability to, move without pain. One of my biggest fears is because I have come from a family of osteoporosis and osteoarthritis. My mother is disabled. Uh, both parents have got heart issues. My biggest fear, and it's probably what keeps me going, is to develop a health issue.
Yeah.
Um, and that is something that it doesn't even enter my head anymore, that that's ever going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So every day I wake up, I am eternally grateful and eternally blessed that I can exercise. You can't take these things for granted
Yeah.
because it can be taken away from you at any time.
No, I like what you mentioned. You've got the family history, but you've taken the right steps at the right time. Um, to avoid whatever you can do to best avoid what happened with your parents.
Absolutely. And you should always look back at your family
Yeah.
history. What is there? What could you possibly inherit? And what can you do to, as preventative? What can you do to avoid it?
Yeah.
If you've got obesity in your family, um, obesity it's mostly lifestyle, but there's a very small percentage that it's something that you could, it's in your genes,
Yeah.
and no matter how well you eat, you can still put on the weight. So what can you do? So analyze it. Look at your family history. Look
Yeah.
at your mother and your father and your siblings, and use food and exercise as preventative medicine
Yeah.
because it is ultimately medicine.
True. Absolutely. I like with food, I always believe you can eat to beat any disease in
Yeah.
general. Just, incorporate healthy lifestyle and you should be good.
Yeah. Should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Intermittent fasting is pretty big nowadays. I am a big believer, follower, preacher of intermittent fasting. But during fasting periods, how do you advise women to stay hydrated and nourished, especially if they're active? Because otherwise, a lot of times, suddenly your sugar levels really go down or your ketones are very, very high and you can have a blackout. I recently was talking to a friend of mine and she does long-term fasts. And she was telling me that, she collapsed suddenly. And when she checked, her ketones were super high. So what do you suggest that when women are being active, are there types of workout that they should do or, tweak so that it doesn't impact them that much and actually impacts them in a good way and not in a bad way?
If you are fasting for health reasons, obviously you can still drink water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still keep yourself hydrated. You can still take your electrolytes. Okay. So you're fine. But if you're fasting for religious reasons, but you still want to exercise, um, you can still do because Ramadan, I don't fast, but I do train women who do fast
True.
during Ramadan. So I will completely change up the workout just for them. So it's a matter of mat-based exercising, and picking a specific part of the day where maybe they're just about to break their fast,
Yeah.
or in the evening, late in the
After
evening,
they've
after they've
they've
broken
broken
their
their fast
fast
and
and the
had a
food's
little
allowed to
bit of
exactly.
yeah.
Or there's the very early morning period just before Fajr, before
Yeah.
they eat their suhoor and they, do their prayers and then go back to bed. So, but you don't need to go crazy. You shouldn't go crazy during those times. It's a nice, easy, flowy type of movements. Um, Keeping yourself hydrated is utmost, making sure that you're getting your fluids in. The electrolytes are really, really important, especially if you're living in a hot country like we are. So, um, fasting doesn't work for everyone, but I'm an advocate just like you. I like to, when I wake up in the morning, I'll just water, lemon and water. Just flush it all out first and then think about what you're going to do. People eat for the sake of eating.
True.
People don't wait till they're hungry.
Yeah.
It's like,
My husband's example of that.
well, sorry, but my husband is too. Okay. I'll say, "Are you hungry?" Not sure. I'll eat when you eat. But are you hungry? But I'll eat. No, eat when you're hungry. That's what people should be doing. I'm a big admirer of people that can eat only one meal a day. I think, wow, because literally that is all you need. If you can get all your nutrients into one meal that's going to sustain you for the whole day,
Yeah.
do it. But eating has become like a leisurely hobby now. It's not. it's not about feeding your body. It's not fueling. It's just a
Enjoyment.
hobby, you know? It's like, let's go out to eat at 11 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
but why, you know? It's a social thing, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Ultimately. But if you can delay your food intake in the morning till about midday, it's good. It gives your body a chance to just detox, and you don't need to cram it with food constantly. And then you've got all these sugary types of breakfast that your body doesn't need.
True, absolutely.
And then you've got this late night eating thing, and that's a big thing here in Dubai,
Yeah.
isn't it? Late night eating, and it's the same in my culture back in Turkey. Um, they'll sit up because they'll have the mid afternoon type of tea thing with
Pastries
pastries.
and yeah,
Yeah,
more like an afternoon tea. Yeah,
yeah,
the UK afternoon
yeah.
tea concept. Yeah.
And then in the evening they'll eat, super late, and then go to bed on a full stomach. Personally, that's a nightmare to me.
I think it's very similar to the Indian eating patterns as well. I remember everyone, they come the 5 o'clock, they probably 5:30, they come back from work and they're like, they call it the evening snacks.
That should be your dinner time.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then they eat dinner at 8:39 and, then they go to bed. And then people come to my house and I'm like, yes, 7 o'clock you'll get dinner, 6:45, 7. And they're like, what? There is nothing for snacks. I'm like,
No.
there's no snacks concept. You get breakfast, you get lunch, and then you'll get dinner. And that too at 7. By 7:38 max, we are done. The whole
Yeah.
kitchen is cleansed.
Yeah.
Everyone is probably, just doing their evening, activity. I'm like, that's it. No, you don't. And again, you don't get anything else post that 8 o'clock bit. So, you've given time to your body.
Absolutely.
And then you go to bed.
Yeah.
And possibly go for a walk after your dinner,
That's amazing. If you
So,
can.
but again, when you're saying that it's the tradition here, I think it's the same tradition back home as well
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. It's a social thing, but it's not always good.
Yeah, completely agree. Now, talking about, menstrual cycles, it's something that we can't avoid till the whole menopause happens. There are a lot of hormonal fluctuations, which we know happens during this whole 28-day, and then especially during the menstrual cycle, which can affect our physical performance,
Absolutely.
right? And how do women adapt their fitness workout during this time? Is it something that they should not do? There's a lot of theory behind saying during this time, just rest it out, let your body, it's going through so much stress already, so don't create additional stress. But there's this whole other theory saying that no, at this time you should work out because your body is ready to cope up with new things, and which will help in the coming weeks. And so there's this lot of theories. What's your take on this, and what's your theory?
Again, everyone is so individual. I haven't had a period in a long time. I've even forgotten what it feels like. But if you're one of those that gets those nasty cramps and the lower back pain, and you feel, all you want to do is just lie in bed. Personally, I think that's the worst thing to do. I think, again, movement. I've said it before and I'll say it again, there is something magical about movement. Even if it's just a walk, even if it's just some mat-based, movements, your body just gets stuck, and then all you're focused on is this
The
pain,
yeah.
the anxiety, the discomfort, the fact, and then your mood, you just
So irritable. You're like,
yeah. Focus on something else. So focus on something that's going to help you. Get yourself, again, it's that rut. You get yourself into a rut. How do you get yourself out of that rut? Go and do some movement. It will make you feel better. But it's convincing someone that feels so horrible at that moment to move, But yeah, just don't jump. Don't jump. Don't lift weights. If you're on your period, do something nice and easy and calm, but do some movement. Dancing, anything dance-based is fun, You can't go wrong with that. Put some music on, dance around the room. Pilates is great. Yoga's great when you're on your period. Functional movements and mobility movements. Yeah, things like that. Something that's just going to open you up and change your mood and get you to focus on something other than, what's going on inside you.
How important, now coming to something that you and I are both very, very passionate about, is how important is strength training for menopausal women, particularly for bone health?
Yeah, bone health. I think at some point in our life there's this osteoporosis and osteoarthritis just like slowly creeps
Yeah.
in, and the bone health starts to go. It's inevitable. It's in men as well. Men suffer as well. Um, but joints can only take so much strain. And if you're a little bit overweight or you just don't use those joints in the way that you should, then yes, you're going to lose the strength, you're going to lose the power, you're going to use the mobility. How do you avoid it? How do you protect those joints? Is build your muscle. It's essential. I can't express how important it is. Any professional will tell you that, and you know that. But it's trying to explain that to women. You start with body weight first. You can do some um, box press ups against the wall for your shoulders, for your chest. You can do some air squats. You can use a chair, sit down and stand up. That avoids any pain in your knees. Assisted lunges. Hold on to something. While you do some assisted lunges. That's all body weight, and then you slowly involve dumbbells.
Ways into the whole thing. Yeah, because I think now women are still, I think, very excited to go to the gym and lift weights is what I feel. You see
Mm,
so many women in the weights
yes,
area compared to what was a
yes.
long time ago. I think they've understood, because I think one point women had this notion that if they lift weight they'll become bulky, right? And I think now they've understood that that's not going to happen, and let me actually take the benefit of strength training, because it makes you look more sexy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah,
toned.
yeah.
Your posture improves. You walk tall. You boost your confidence. Um, do you know how much testosterone you have in your body?
I know I have equal amount of the testosterone that men have, is what I've heard. Testosterone is not just a male hormone, but it's actually a very important female
It
hormone as well.
it's very important for us women.
Yep.
Absolutely, the amount of testosterone we have
Yep.
is the equivalent of a 10-year-old boy.
A 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's why we can never bulk up.
Oh, that's very
Because a
interesting to know.
10-year-old boy will not
Bulk
bulk
up.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
But testosterone is incredibly
Yeah, but a
important.
10-year-old boy can be nicely toned. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we need the testosterone, but we will never look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is unless you want to, and then
Yeah.
if you want to, then yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got.
We spoke about it. Coming to another important, which is cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
Now, as we grow older, we want to make sure that the heart's pumping and working the way it's supposed to work. What are the benefits of cardiovascular workouts? We spoke about high intensity
Yeah.
training, but does running help, or does spinning do all of these support? Because running has this, it's got the good and the bad, right? Because people say you can run when you're younger, but then later you get into really bad situation. Because I was
Joints.
speaking to somebody, and she said, her boyfriend's mom had to get both knee replacement because she was a runner. So if I wouldn't want to suggest anybody to run at 40, but what are the cardiovascular exercises that they can do which will help in increasing the heart rate and keeping the heart going?
Yeah. I think unless you're born a runner, don't run.
Hmm.
Unless it's something that you really, really love. We're all different body types, ectomorphs, exomorphs, mesomorphs. We're all different body types, and we're all built to do different types of physical activities. So some people are born runners. Some people are born quite muscular, quite bulky. And some people are swimmers. Some people are very flexible, so they're geared towards yoga and Pilates. You've got to go towards what excites you, what makes you feel good. And if running is what you really, really enjoy and you've always done it, you carry on doing it. But then if you feel that your body has taken too much of an overload of it, then you look for alternatives, which a lot of people do develop knee issues. They do. Um, I personally don't like steady state cardio. I can't. It's too monotonous for me. I don't feel the benefits of it. But a lot of people do like it. For me, I think interval training is the best. It gives the heart that this sudden spurt, and then you
Yeah,
stop,
yeah,
and then you go again,
yeah.
and then you stop. Um, and I think that's the best for your heart health, to be honest, and for your metabolic health. So, it's down to personal preference. The only thing I would say when people say to me, when I say to people, do you exercise? And their response is, I walk. I say, well done. Walking is amazing for your mental health, but it doesn't do anything for your physical health. So walking, I think, unless you are a power walker,
Yeah.
forget it. It doesn't really do much for you, but it is great. It's great for your mental health. Um, but running is purely personal preference.
Yeah. I just
I'm not a
cannot run.
runner.
Cannot run.
Me neither.
I think the only time that I run is when there's a marathon, or when I'm taking part in a run in
Okay.
general. I can, that ways I've run a 5K and a 10K couple
Yeah.
of times, but otherwise there is no chance I am going to get up and run. Oh, it's
Some people love it though,
yeah,
don't they? And I
yeah,
really admire that.
yeah, yeah,
They get their running shoes on and they'll go for miles and miles and miles. And I think, wow,
yeah. I've got a friend of mine.
Yeah.
She is a runner. She
Mm.
loves running, and she's part of the run club. Like even in the summer at
Yeah.
5:30, they wake up and they're like
Yes.
running.
Yes. Yes.
And she's like, Gayu eats so good. But she
Yeah.
always keeps telling me, in the gym and all, you still have somebody pushing you to pick up weights and stuff. She's like, with running, you have to push yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're like, there is this fight within yourself
Yes.
to, finish that
Yes.
extra kilometer and kilometer and kilometer. So she said, but then once you get into it, it's an addiction. So you want to run every run that's possible. You want to go and run, and
But how old is she?
she's same age as me, probably a little,
Okay.
maybe a year
And
elder
her
to me.
joints are still okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine. And she can carry on for
Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as she can. But get her to, she needs to do upper body strength.
Yeah, she does. She does CrossFit as well
Perfect.
to keep her
Perfect.
strength training going,
Yeah.
and then she runs because that's what her passion is.
Yes. Yes. Definitely got to do what you love.
Yeah.
And not everybody loves what I love, and not everybody will love what you love. So
Yeah, yeah.
you've just got to find what you enjoy. Even if it's a dance class, if it's
Yeah.
Zumba or something like that, to find what you love and what you enjoy.
I'm born with 2 left foot.
I know, I can't do Zumba either.
I remember I've tried it. I see part of the Fitness First membership,
Yeah.
and but there's a very, very nice trainer. And I'm like, how are these people dancing? Like, I'm like, left, right. I'm like, I've got this coordination issue. So I'm like, like really, really lost. And I'm like, this is more stress for me than enjoyment. I said, no, I'll go back to lifting my weights.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm not a routine person. So if there's a routine that you need to memorize, nah, I don't remember it.
I found, like I'm telling you, I just told you I'm very competitive. And I'm like, and I can see the person in front of me moving like with all the grace. And I'm like, walk out. That's the door for you.
So yeah, you find what you love.
Yeah.
And you stick to it. And then, you just become better and better with time.
You've, built a community, which is what you did, when your whole idea was the whole community development. It is not very easy to build a community because, you got to have everyone, be active and I struggled with when I set up my own community, which I then kind of stopped eventually because it was not giving me the results that I was looking for.
Okay.
But then, and you do an online environment, how do you foster this, this community feeling? What do you do? What's the magic?
It's not me. You've got to have a few key community members that will be passionate about keeping the conversation alive. Some people are really overwhelmed by it and they don't get involved at all.
Yeah.
Some people don't even check the community messages. Majority benefit from it. The majority have got questions to ask that somebody else would answer. I'm not going to take any credit for it. I just feel like it's people that naturally gel, and they learn each other's names and they see each other at the live workouts and they ask about each other. And if somebody's not been there for a while, they'll tag, I haven't seen you for a while, which is really nice because that's encouraging again. I think you just need a few key players. It can't just be you. It can't be. We get annoying after a while, no? If they're constantly like, oh, no, you're going to do this and you've got to work out and you've got to come to the class and you've got to do... But if it's coming from, I always say, if it's coming from other women who are sharing the same experience as you, then I think that's more encouraging and more motivating rather than coming from the instructor constantly. So I try and take a back step and let the community just do its own natural thing. And if it's silent for a couple of hours or even for a day, then that's fine. Maybe that's the silence that they needed. Everyone's so busy. Yeah. Nobody's got any questions maybe that day or anything like that. But if somebody's there and they're asking questions, somebody else will pipe in and somebody will reply. And, and that's how the community gets going. And again, it's a personal preference, really. Either you want to be involved or you don't want to be involved. And so a lot of people are not involved. and you got
Yeah.
to respect that.
Yeah. I eventually gave up
Yeah.
and stopped that. But you've been running Active at Home.
Mm.
What are the biggest challenges that you've seen while running this, and what did you do to overcome them?
Yeah. So I think frustration was probably my biggest thing. When people start off with all good intentions, and you know that they will really want to do well. They really want to be a better version of themselves, and then suddenly they disappear and they stop because life challenges have come in the way. Life challenges will always be there. There's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be a barrier. And then I think becoming frustrated, becoming so personally involved in somebody's life, I've learnt not to do that anymore. Just take a step back. People naturally gravitate back, even if they take a year off. You know, suddenly I'll get a message. I know I haven't done it for a long time. It's whatever's happened in their life that's become a barrier. But if they really want to continue, they will gravitate back. And I think that's probably the hardest thing for me, is not getting so personally involved in other people's lives and just leave it.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes you want good for them,
You
right?
do, you do. You want the
Yeah.
best for them.
Yeah.
And in fact, you just want to shake them and say, come on,
You can do this.
you can do
Yeah. Just
this.
take out 30 minutes.
Don't let, life drag you down,
Yeah.
because life was always going to drag you down. You'll never be in the right place. It's like, oh, I've got to wait for the right time. Got to wait for the right time to have a baby. Got to wait for the right time to make that move. Got to wait for the right time to get married. There is no right time.
Yeah.
So there is no right time to take control of your health. There is no right time to start exercising. You've just got to do it.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes into your head, just do it. Don't wait for the doctor. By the time that doctor tells you, it's almost too late. So don't wait.
He's not going to give you the good news anyways.
He's not going to give you the good news. All he's going to say is, if you don't exercise, it's just going to get worse. So you're already sick.
Yeah.
The ailment has already occurred. Don't wait for the ailments. Don't wait for the lifestyle diseases.
True.
Just if it comes into your head, I know I need to exercise, start. Yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, the frustration for me, it's unreal.
You told me you do the whole workout yourself, but what's your fitness routine? If you're not doing that, what do you do to stay fit and healthy?
I think I do enough.
Yeah, I know you said 4 workouts. Now that I think this question didn't make sense because you work out 4 times already in a day.
I have gifted myself a rest day now, which I never did before. So I've taken Sundays off now. I even used to train people on Sundays.
Okay.
So I've just allowed myself that day. I just feel like there's also the you can overtrain.
Yeah.
It is quite dangerous. And I do have a fear of injury. I have injured myself many times when I was doing some really heavy weights back in my early 40s.
Yeah.
Shoulder injuries were massive for me. I was pressing really heavy weights at one point. And the recovery, the older you get, the harder it is, the longer the recovery time. So I think fear of injury is a big thing for me. And if you're super tired, super fatigued, and you haven't allowed your muscles to rest enough, you will injure yourself. So I've learned to step back and take a rest day now.
Interesting. You mentioned rest day. Have you thought, or what's your take on people? If you had videos of you working out and not you physically, will the interaction be the same, or do you think people will not have that connect?
You mean if they want
It's a pre-recorded video
Yeah. They're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you want to use one, you can use one, but people are not motivated.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, no, there's a plethora of workouts on YouTube. It's huge market now, and they're all free. Yeah. But who is motivated to switch it on and do the workout using 100% effort? You might start the workout, do the first 5-10 minutes with super enthusiasm and effort, and then it'll get too tired. You'll get too tired, or it will get too hard, and then you'll stop.
Yeah.
Because who's there to say to you, don't stop? Who's there to say, come on, carry on? You've got to, do one more rep or something like that.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Yeah.
So people give up. but they are there. They're there. My workouts are there, and I always say to my ladies are quite good actually. If they can't make a live workout, they say, "No, can you suggest one of the
Online,
pre-recorded
yeah.
ones?" I try and add one to the library every now and then, but there's a good selection of all sorts of workouts there. So I've even recorded ones for Ramadan.
Okay.
So for when people are fasting, if they want to do some movement while they're fasting, that's there too. But you have to be super motivated and super disciplined to do one on your own. I don't think I can do one on my own.
Like, okay, five, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah. Okay,
nobody's
I'm retired
watching, no
now.
one's watching. Yeah. It's like this.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who are your role models in the fitness industry?
I love that question. I love that question. And you're gonna think my answer is really crazy. My husband.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, my husband has literally taught me everything that I know. Yes, I've done all the training. Yes, I've done all the courses. Um, my husband is probably the best personal trainer that I've ever encountered. He is so knowledgeable about hormones, about women's health. Um, Everything that I know, I feel I've learned from him. I used to train with him, so we used to train together at the gym. So he taught me everything about um, uh, all sorts of workouts. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
he's not a trainer anymore.
Okay.
He was a trainer. He doesn't train anyone anymore, but he trains himself every single day, and he's 60 years old.
Wow.
He's 60 years old, but he's got the body of a 30-year-old. He is amazing. And when I look at him and I think, damn, if you can do it, anyone can do it,
Sure.
It's just motivation. He says it's his therapy. And if he doesn't go, he feels like there's something wrong. And that's the stage in our life we should get to. That's the stage in our fitness journey we should get to. That if we don't do it, we feel like something's wrong.
True. Like you mentioned, brushing is part of your life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exercise becomes part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing. It's an embedded habit,
Mm.
part of your routine. Yeah. So he uses exercise not only to look good, but it's de-stressing for him. He does a very stressful job. So he de-stresses, he takes time to contemplate. It gives him that little bit of respite. And he can't go a day. He has to be super, super tired to miss a day at the gym. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned everything from him.
Amazing. How much did he pay you to say this?
I cook for him every day. Come on, I paid him back.
um, looking forward, what are your long-term goals for Active at home? Are there new markets or services or collaborations with other trainers that you want to include and make it a bigger platform?
When I first arrived in Dubai, so I've got my community from Europe, basically.
Yeah.
That was always there. It was it's settled. It's an ingrained community. We've been working out together for years. And I've just brought it along with me. Because I can literally do it from anywhere in the world. When I travel, I'm always doing my workouts. It's my priority.
Yeah.
So when I arrived in Dubai, I thought, there's no community here for me. Everyone goes to the gym here. Everyone is so passionate about how they look. All the trainers here are like super young, super fit, super buff. There is no market for me here. But now that I'm settled. This is my second year here, and I'm reflecting. I'm talking to people. I'm getting involved in communities. There is a lot of women here who are not exercising for various reasons.
Yep.
Yeah. Personal trainers here are expensive.
Very.
Um, gyms are gym memberships are quite expensive, but even with gyms, you still need to be taught what to do. So it could be a wasted membership, really, because you're just going to go and use the treadmill.
Yeah.
Women are incredibly busy everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot have nannies here, so they do have that time that they
True.
could, leave the kids and go to the gym. But there's still a lot of women here that don't have nannies, who do have the responsibility of their children, and money is limited. I think that's what my ambition is. The current ambition is to make active at home as accessible not only to the European ladies but to the ladies here in Dubai. So my European times won't suit the Dubai ladies. Dubai ladies will. I do train Dubai ladies,
Yeah.
but they fix their time. They have a different time scale to the European ladies, so they're not part of that community.
Okay.
I would love the Dubai ladies to get involved in the active at home community, but it means that I would add in more workouts that are suitable to the time zone here.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to do that. So if I had, you know, a dozen ladies from Dubai who all suddenly wanted to join, but obviously 12:30 midday here Dubai time and 9:30 at night Dubai time is not suitable for them, would come to an agreement. Let's do a 6 p.m. workout or an 8 p.m. workout, and but still be part of the community,
Yeah.
because someone in Europe might want to join that Dubai
Sure.
time. So I think that's me trying to think about possibilities here.
Amazing.
Mm.
It was very, very great to know lots of stuff from you today. But before we go,
Yeah.
we've got a special segment. I
Okay.
call it the 1%.
Okay.
This podcast is 99% about women, women's health. All the conversation is around women.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't negate that men are a part of our journey as well.
Yes.
Okay. So, Noor, can you leave our listeners with your 1% advice for the men in their lives? What is it that the men can do better to better understand, the whole women's journey and where they can support?
Oh, it's huge. They play a huge role. If if a woman wanted to become a better version of themselves, how could they do it without the support of their husband? It's very difficult. So the husband's role is to be incredibly supportive and encouraging, and there are days when women will not want to, they'll become complacent and they'll become wearisome and they won't want to do anything. It's the husband's job then. Encourage, push, motivate them,
Support them.
support
Yeah.
them. They've got a huge role. And I felt that from my husband. It was my husband that was pushing me and encouraging me. I also got that from my children, which was really good. So, if you've got this team behind you that are pushing you and encouraging you and supporting you, then it's the best feeling ever. Because yes, you can be your own best fan, yeah, but if you've got fans around you, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a different high, right?
Completely. And there's nothing nicer than your husband encouraging you. He has to be on board. I always say that when a new client arrives, you've got to get your husband on board. It's really important, because there are days you will not want to work out and your husband will say, why are you not working out? What happened? Oh, I felt too lazy. No, go on, off you go, sort of thing. So
Not someone who says, come, let's have a shawarma together.
Exactly.
Or a kunafa together.
Exactly. Yeah. But men are a little bit more disciplined than women, because they got the freedom to be so. So, encourage that in your wife, encourage that in your partner. It's so important.
Amazing. Thanks for the advice. And that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I had an amazing time with Noor. And women, please get in touch with Noor. Active at home, 30 minutes is what you need, just to keep your body moving. Most important is what we understood from this conversation today. If you liked our content, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, menopause, why pause? Let's play.